Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box. And this is going to be particularly fun-filled for me because it's the final stream of 2025. And I want to close it out with something very close to me. It's been a crazy day, lots of elements conspiring against me from doing this stream, but here I am just for you and just for the record. So, in the spirit of Christmas, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite music because all of my life I have loved Christmas songs, and I sense that Christmas songs sort of divide people, and they divide people in ways that you wouldn't necessarily expect. There are some people who think, oh, Christmas has become too commercialized, and the music is a symptom of that. And you find those hypotheses from people at opposite ends of sort of the social and metaphysical spectrum. There are some people who believe that Christmas songs, particularly ones that talk about behavioral activities as opposed to the birth of Christ, which is, of course, the reason for the season, are somehow vapid, fatuous, and a distraction from the holy blessing of Christ's birth, and therefore they reject the songs on that basis. On the other end of this ideological spectrum are those who are somewhat atheistic or somewhat iconoclastic in a secular sense. The term obviously was very non secular when it came about during the Protestant Reformation, and they just don't like it because of what we might call humbug. Then there are others who choose between styles of Christmas songs because there are many varieties. There are the purely hymnal songs, there are those that talk about the reason for the season, as well as what I call the behavioral activity songs. There are the ones that strictly focus on behavior of people, family get togethers, eggnog, other sorts of drinks, champagne, and the rest of it, and family and other things. There are some that are very contemplative and very introspective. There are some that are melancholic. There are some that are mournful for ideas of a more perfect Christmas past that we may have lost in Christmas present. It all gets very Dickensian when you get into it. But here's the deal. I love all of them. I love just about every genre of Christmas song, and I have my own favorites within every genre. And so I've made for you a playlist. I do this every year, and so those of you who might have been following me at the same time last year will have seen the playlist, but I have updated it with a few different songs. I haven't eliminated any, I don't think, but I've added a few that I may have forgotten last year, and I've put that list in the comments section here. There's a YouTube version and a Spotify version. Now, I'm just going to go through not all of the songs because there's almost 300 on the list. And I do encourage you, if you love Christmas music as much as I do, and the chair decides to break, I hope Santa doesn't give me a chair for Christmas. I want him to give me something a bit more inspiring. I mean, a chair, that's just something you find at the side of the highway and take with you, right? Where do chairs come from? Well, they come from, the shoulder of the highway. So I just want to go through some of the ones that are particularly poignant and special for me because I have a lot of them on the list, and they're all good, but some of them are great, and I want to go through some of the ones that I consider great. So I've got the list in front of me, and I'll be going through some of the ones that I consider great. So let's begin with one that's based on a very beautiful and somewhat melancholic, but at the same time hopeful poem by Longfellow, one of the great American poets of the 19th century, a great romantic poet in my view. And this is I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. Now, this song has been sung by many different vocalists, and I actually have a couple of versions on this list. And the ones that I have, just double checking, are by Frank Sinatra and Harry Belafonte. Now, in terms of their approach, they're not radically different. They both sing it in a very traditional yet dramatic style, but because they both sing it so well and they're both wonderful singers, I decided to include both of them on my list. It's just an incredibly moving song, incredibly poignant. It's a song that is I think for everyone, it's a song where if you're having the best Christmas ever, it's for you. If you're having a difficult Christmas for whatever reason, it's also for you. If you're young or young at heart, it's for you. That's a Sinatra reference there too. Or if you're older and looking back on the September of your years turning into the December of the day, it's for you also. Just a wonderful, beautiful song. So definitely catch that. Let's see what else have we got. We've got I'll Be Home for Christmas. And again, this is a song that many people over the years have sung. The lyrics were written by Kim Gannon and the composer was William Kent. And it's just a beautiful song. It was a wartime song from the Second World War. And it was about the soldiers who were away from their families and longing for them. And I think that it's really something that is again for all seasons and all occasions, although it is one about longing. It could be for a kind of simple yet to many profound longing about missing those that you love, or it could be about, people who are living in a genocide where their homes are being taken away and their families are being killed and dreaming of one day having a place called home and having people in that home to call friends and loved ones. So it's very versatile in its meaning. It's got a beautiful memory. It is on the melancholic side, as some of the more, not all, but some of the more profound ones on this list are. My favorite version is by Bing Crosby, although I've got a couple of versions by others as well on this list. Um, Marvin Gaye, a great, great composer, great, great singer, really interesting sort of arranger, wrote two that I really love. There's Christmas in the City and I Want to Come Home for Christmas. Christmas in the City is, I believe, the instrumental. No, no, Christmas in the City is the vocal one. I Want to Come Home for Christmas is the instrumental one by Marvin Gaye. Both of those are absolutely gorgeous. It's got everything you'd want from a Marvin Gaye composition. It's got the drama, the rising and falling, the musical narrative, apart from the lyrical narrative and the lyrical one, and of course, so soulful, so wonderful, so great. Let's see what else we have got on this list. As you can see, I never prepare this stuff. So the Bells of St. Mary, that is a very traditional song. And the version that I put on the list is by the R&B singer Bobby Sheen. It is, for someone known for sort of R&B and soul for singing, it's a surprisingly sort of dramatic and almost neoclassical meets R&B arrangement of that song. So that is a really good one that I definitely recommend. Moving on, we've got I Believe in Father Christmas, Greg Lake's classic, I would say the best prog rock Christmas song ever. And this one is also, I mean, it looks like a pattern is sort of emerging, pardon me, and that I'm really going for the ones that are on the more contemplative side. This song is about people forgetting the meaning of Christmas, and that final stirring line, the Christmas we get, we deserve, is one that's always stuck with me. Now, some people have erroneously mislabeled this song as an anti-Christmas song, and Greg Lake has said that it is the furthest from the truth. It's about connecting with the real meaning of Christmas at a human level and moving away from the more superficial elements of the season. So that was Greg Lake's own commentary on that wonderful song. Um, I've got next The Little Boy That Santa Claus Forgot. And this is a song that again, it's one of the more introspective ones. And Vera Lynn's version is my absolute favorite, although Nat King Cole, who's going to appear on this list shortly, did a wonderful version himself. It's a song, again, very Dickensian. It's a song about an impoverished boy making the most of his Christmas, even though he's got no gifts because he has no father, ostensibly because the father died in the war, but alternatively, maybe the father was a rolling stone. Everywhere he left his hat was his home. It could apply to that as well. Absolutely beautiful song. I said Nat King Cole was coming up, and he appears on this list multiple times. But my favorite Christmas song that Nat King Cole sings, yes, there is the Christmas song that he put on the map, the chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Yes, that is there. But I think the finest Christmas song of the many that Nat King Cole has sung is his version of "Oh Holy Night." It's one of my favorite hymns ever. A beautiful story of the night Christ was born, and for me, Nat King Cole just sings that magnificently. So definitely check that out. Another traditional one, again, Bing Crosby. You'll see a lot of similar people pop up on this list several times. Faith of Our Fathers, absolutely beautiful song. And I'm going to try to, speed it along here because people, have sleighs to catch and reindeer to castrate and all the rest of it. So I don't want to dwell too much. Anyway, moving right along. You're All I Want for Christmas. Beautiful song, and it was sung, in my view, most magnificently by Al Martino. Al Martino, coming from that wonderful generation of Italian American pop, classic pop singers and entertainers. Great, great voice. His daughter, interestingly, has a very big online presence. She has something called Vintage Los Angeles, and it's all about the historic architecture and the interesting people that she sort of saw growing up in LA as the daughter of a big star. And I've never met her, I don't know her, but she seems like a really nice person from a really nice family. So that's a little aside about the late, great Al Martino. Um, Next, we've got a couple from Isaac Hayes. Again, what a songwriter, what an arranger, what a talent, what a voice. And from him, I've got Winter Snow, which is sort of his more melancholic one. And then another one, which is all about love at Christmas, because, Isaac Hayes liked the ladies, or at least he sung about it. I'm sure he did. And this one is The Mistletoe and Me. So you can check that one out. What else have we got? It's a long list, so I'm just trying to go through them as efficaciously as popular. So, in the early 2000s, the Moody Blues, and this actually became the final official studio album of the Moody Blues. It was called December, and it's full of traditional Christmas songs. And the ones that I've got on this list from the Moody Blues, because the whole album is great, I've got December Snow, When a Child is Born, and Yes, I Believe. Wonderful songs with the wonderful music of the Moody Blues. You really, really can't go wrong. Absolutely beautiful. Now, another Christmas song that seems to become a bit less common these days, but I think we ought to bring it back, is Pretty Paper. And of course, the recording I like is from the man most known for singing Pretty Woman. So if you can't get a woman this Christmas, you can get some paper. I'm sorry, we got to have a bit of fun. And this is, of course, Roy Orbison and his version of Pretty Paper. Absolutely great. The Staple Singers. Everyone loves the Staple Singers. A great family group there. Who Took the Merry Out of Christmas? Absolute soulful hit, a real banger, as the youngsters would say. Back to Vera Lynn, another great one from her, a Christmas Wish from Me to You. Beautiful song, very dramatic, almost neoclassical at times. Really, really fine stuff. And let's go back to the list. The Christmas Waltz is another great one from Sinatra, but I want to now go to one of the finest songs of all by a man I consider my favorite modern songwriter, meaning my favorite mid to late 20th century and contemporary, because he's still going strong, songwriter of all time. And this is the great Jimmy Webb. And Sinatra was the first and best to sing it. And this song is Whatever Happened to Christmas. It's got all of those wonderful, lush chords and interesting changes to those chords that Jimmy Webb is known for. And Frank Sinatra, during his reprise years, really, really sings it gorgeously. So definitely check that out. Another prog rock one, Run with the Fox, from I believe 1981, it was a Chris Squire song from Yes, Alan White, Yes's drummer at the time, and well, their most consistent drummer was on there too, and it's a really interesting song, full of that mid-rangey Rickenbacker bass that Yes fans love, so definitely check that one out. God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, another very traditional song, but the version that I love the most is an instrumental one by the fabulous, wonderful Oscar Peterson. And that's on the list, as is a Jimmy Smith organ number, his version of the Christmas song, Nat King Cole's classic there. Let's see, what else have we got on this list? We've got the Kinks. Now, the Kinks are obviously a very interesting band, very poetic, very observational in their lyrics, and always with a very fun, tongue in cheek sense of humor. And they did a song at the end of the 70s, which was sort of a send up on the punk scene at the time. And it's called Father Christmas. It's basically, Father Christmas, give us some money. We don't have your time for your silly toys. We'll beat you up if you don't hand it over. You know, it's classic Kinks. It's, you know, a song with a smile, a song with a bit of irony. Now, I've got a lot of stuff from Booker T and the MGs because they put out a Christmas album in the late 60s called In the Spirit of Christmas. So I've got Winter Wonderland, Blue Christmas, Merry Christmas Baby, the Christmas song, and Silver Bells, all in wonderful instrumental form for the great Booker T and the MGs. Now, what else is on this list? The Whispers, they put out a wonderful Christmas album as well. So from them, I've got Funky Christmas, This Christmas, the Christmas Song, This Time of Year, Happy Holidays to You, and a Very Special Holiday. Really good stuff. And speaking of This Christmas, a sort of mentor and hero of the Whispers was the great Donny Hathaway, and I've got his classic song, This Christmas, with those wonderful chords that sort of, you don't know where they're going next. A great feature of Donny Hathaway's writing. So I've got This Christmas on the list as well. Well, it wouldn't be Christmas without Herb Albert and the Tijuana Bros. So I've got Las Manatas. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Spanish, Mexican, South American people, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it is on the list just for you. Now, Rick Wake, there's a lot of Rick Wakeman on this list, but I just would recommend to you listen to his whole album called Christmas Portraits. It's just Rick at the piano playing wonderful traditional Christmas songs in classical Rick Wakeman fashion. Very traditional, very wholesome, very beautiful, because Rick, obviously, one of the great musicians of all time, if you ask me. So definitely check that out. Moving right along, because again, I've got such a long list, so I'm trying to be selective, as Spinal Tap would say. We've got The Snowman, which was originally composed by Blake, the modern English composer, and it was featured in that very well-known animated film. But the version I put is a sort of neoclassical rock version by Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow, because Ritchie just loved the song, and he put it on his album Bent Out of Shape, the final album of Rainbow's original run. It's instrumental, and it's just really good. So check that out as well. We've got a couple from Al Hirt, the great New Orleans trumpeter. We've got Nutty Jingle Bells and Silver Bells by the great trumpeter Al Hirt. So do not miss that. From Jethro Tull's original compilation album of B-sides and rarities from 1972, or one, I believe, we've got the original Christmas song by Jethro Tull, another sort of social commentary, very tongue-in-cheek, as Ian Anderson always is. Now, as you all know, one of my favorite songwriters, guitarists, and vocalists is the great Jose Feliciano, and from him, we've got one that you've all heard, but I put it on the list because I just love Jose Feliciano so much, and this is, of course, Feliz Navidad. Wonderful stuff. Now, in the very late 80s, or not that late, 1987, a group, it was a charity group, I forget the one, put out a record called A Very Special Christmas. Mobile Fidelity later later released a great audiophile gold CD version of it. And there's some really great stuff on it. And one of the songs I really like is the Bob Seger version of The Little Drummer Boy. Really great there. Speaking of which, Christmas would not be complete. And I just want to make sure I have it on this. Yeah, I do have it on this list. The wonderful Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy duet between Bing Crosby and David Bowie. Now, this was recorded for the final Christmas special that Bing did before his death. And David, obviously, in the late 70s, was at the height. Well, David Bowie was always at the height of his powers. And the story goes the TV producer wanted David to sing Little Drummer Boy with Bing. David decided he didn't like the song, and he wanted to sing this Peace on Earth. And so at the last minute, they found a way to arrange it. And, you must have had great musicians in that orchestra so that you would have sort of a round where Bing would be singing Little Drummer Boy while David would be singing Peace on Earth. And it turned into an instant classic of two men that on paper don't have a lot in common, but in the real world did. Now, Ray Conniff, a lot of people think Ray Conniff is cornball. It's sort of, pop choral music. Some would call it elevator music, but I think that Ray Conniff was a lot more than that. And he actually, of all of his great Christmas songs, and there's plenty on this list, check out Christmas Bride. Really, really interesting song. So don't forget that. The Jackson 5 did a lot of great Christmas music, and they appear on this list, but Give Love on Christmas Day, featuring a very young but super talented Michael, is one not to miss. I'll read a few more because there's so many on this list. The Drifters did a wonderful doo-wop version of White Christmas. The Emotions, a really, really great band, a female R&B soul band, and one of the finest Christmas songs ever. Again, part soulful, part neoclassical. What Do the Lonely Do at Christmas? It's a Stax record release. Really, really wonderful stuff, as old Johnny would say. Ramsey Lewis, one of the great pianists ever. I've got him quite a bit on this list because he did a number of instrumental Christmas albums. I have his version of Snowbound that I want to highlight, but anything from him on any of his Christmas records, you cannot go wrong with. If you want a sort of very tongue-in-cheek hard rock Christmas song, we've got Mistress for Christmas, because, of course, it's AC/DC. And if they're not singing about booze, bombs, and women, well, they're singing about mistresses here. So there you go. A more recent one from Eric Clapton's Happy Christmas album is Christmas Tears, a really great one with Clapton really, really at his finest. And Argent, Hold Your Head Up and God Gave Rock and Roll to You. Christmas for the Free we've got from Argent and Company. Sammy Hagar, Santa's Going South for Christmas. Now, this one might seem kind of simple and straightforward, but to me, there's actually a deep philosophical meaning to it. A lot of the secular or semi-secular Christmas songs tend to and Christmas sort of iconography. And I don't mean iconography in the literal liturgical sense. I mean in terms of things we look at, the visual sense. A lot of it tends to create a narrative that would have you believe that Christmas only occurs in sort of woodland forest, climatic regions of this world that we call planet Earth. But that's not true. There is Christmas in Texas. There is Christmas in Hawaii. There's Christmas in LA. There is Christmas in the Southern Hemisphere, where it is, in fact, summer right now. And of course, there is Christmas in Palestine, where Christmas began, because that's where Christ was born. And these aren't woodland areas. These aren't German forests. These aren't snow-covered Chicago. These aren't ice skating rinks in New York. They're very different climatic zones. And so this song is a simple tale of Santa kicking it back in Mexico, because Sammy Hagar's bar is, of course, there. I think there's a more important meaning there. And you could also look at a very comparatively earlier one, Mele Kalikimaka is Hawaiian way, to say Merry Christmas to you, Bing Crosby. I love that one. And so I have that song there. And this was actually a fun bit of trivia. Hawaii was not yet a U.S. state when Bing Crosby first recorded that. There's some useless trivia for you from a very useless man. Run, Run, Rudolph, Chuck Berry. You've heard it a million times before, but everyone loves it. The Beach Boys have a couple of great ones because they, of course, did an obligatory Christmas album with their wonderful harmonies. You've got Little Saint Nick and Merry Christmas Baby, the ones that I've selected as my favorite. The country band Alabama, Thistlehair the Christmas Fair, a really moving song, somewhat of a kid song, but I think anyone can enjoy it. And now a country and western song that really isn't for kids. This one's downright depressing, but beautiful too. It's Kentucky Homemade Christmas by Kenny Rogers, about impoverished Kentuckians at Christmas time. Very something to listen to. Chicago has done a lot of Christmas albums, and my favorite of the ones they've done is Because It's Christmas Time. Now, Vince Guaraldi, one of the great pianists of all time, San Francisco's own, they're having a blackout now. Cannot wait for the conspiracies on that one. I've got plenty of my own, believe you me. The Charlie Brown Christmas album, just listen to the whole thing. I've got some of my favorites on the list, but listen to the whole thing. And Acoustic Sounds with Chad Kasson, he just put out a UHQR version of that. Mastered by Matthew Luthans, a great mastering engineer. But you'd know that if you're a regular listener to this channel. Merry Christmas, Darling by the Carpenters. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Karen Carpenter, what a voice. Remember when they tried to censor Baby It's Cold Outside? Well, if you're woke, you can always listen to the instrumental version by Jimmy Smith and Wes Montgomery, the great organist and guitarist. So check that out. If you're into the 12 Days of Christmas, I've got a Harry Belafonte version and a version from Bing Crosby and the Andrews Sisters. So check that out. Stevie Wonder's up next. Bet you couldn't see that one coming. He's on the list several times, but Bedtime for Toys is a really touching song. Again, one of these sort of contemplative social commentary, introspective ones, but very good. Perry Como, so much by Perry Como on this list, but check out The Story of the First Christmas, where Perry narrates and sings the story of Christ's birth. Very, very great. Dean Martin, it wouldn't be Christmas without Dean. He loved a good party, and we've got a lot from him. I love his version of Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow. Everyone loves a Marshmallow World. There's plenty of others, including his famous version of Baby It's Cold Outside. Well, it wouldn't be if you were on Epstein Island. Just kidding. Does anyone here follow the news? Anyway, there you go. So we've got Must Be Santa from Mitch Miller and the gang for those who are a bit cornball and like to sing along. Brand New Christmas, Hot Chocolate, going in the other direction, much more funky. We've got Here Comes Santa Claus and Blue Christmas by Elvis, because you've got to have Elvis. You've got Jimmy Durante's immortal version of Frosty the Snowman. Calypso Noel, we've got to have a Calypso Christmas Carol on here by the wonderful Johnny Mathis. We've got a few versions of Frosty, but Jimmy Durante's is the one that if you know what you know, you'll know it and love it. Now, I said that my favorite version of Oh Holy Night is by Nat King Cole, and it is, but we've also got a version sung by Rob Halford of Judas Priest. It's not necessarily what you think. Very interesting version. The guy's got pipes. And again, I'm not reading every single one of these, but I'm trying to come up with my absolute favorites. I Wish It Could Be Christmas Every Day, a little mid-70s glam rock by Wizard, Roy Wood's band there. Hark the Herald Angels Sing, Mario Lanza, the great singer, along with Paul Barron. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. A Christmas in Killarney, very Irish song, as the name implies, by Bing Crosby. Ring Out Solstice Bells, you could consider that a very Christmassy song from Jethro Tull. So that's on there. We've got a bit of Please Come Home for Christmas, because Don Henley is saying that you're violating his copyrights on Rick Beato's channel. Bit of Eagles there. Dies de Filatis, Pavarotti. I'm pronouncing the Latin wrong, but there you go. It's beautiful. Christmas All Over Again by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Gotta love it. Dominic the Donkey, because we all love our Italian stereotypes. Lou Monte, wonderful stuff. Tennessee Ernie Ford, because I sold my store, sold to the company store. But this time he's singing the Star Carol. Very beautiful. Leon Redbone, wonderful singer. I've got Christmas Island and Kitty Cat's Christmas. I love it. If you don't, you're not allowed to listen to this channel anymore. You've got some R&B, we've got some hip hop, we've got some rap, we've got the originals, Run DMC with their classic Christmas Time in Hollis, Queens, Christmas in the Hollis. Absolutely good stuff there. Got Plenty by Andy Williams. His version of Silent Night is there. Lots of other stuff. We've got a few from The Ventures, because what would Christmas be without some surf guitar? Thank God It's Christmas. Queen, Freddie Mercury sounding wonderful there. Love Divine by the Ilford Songsters, very traditional. I Can Hardly Wait for Christmas, one of the finest soul Christmas songs by the OJs. We've also got another Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Bros, Winter Wonderland. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas appears multiple times. My two favorite versions, probably Andy Williams and Rod Stewart. Really great stuff there. This Christmas by Don Ho, because a bit of Hawaiian wonder makes for good joy and merriment. Got quite a few versions of Rudolph, but Gene Autry's is the original, so I thought that we would put that on there. We have got some Burl Ives. You'll know his voice from the Rudolph films. Got quite a lot of Glenn Campbell. He did a great Christmas, several Christmas albums. So we've got a lot of great Glenn Campbell. Some would say too much. I say you can never have too much Glenn Campbell. We've even got the Bare Naked Ladies doing a surprisingly straight Christmas melody with Sarah McLachlan. So we've got that there as well. We've got the Funk Brothers doing Winter Wonderland, so don't forget that one. Again, I could go through all 283 of these, but I think suffice it to say, if you like Christmas music as much as I do, hey, you're going to enjoy this list. I know I have, and I know I will. So I'm going to do another short video on Tuesday, my final until the end of the year, where I'll do a year in review and whatnot. And if there's breaking news, I'll maybe be around. But stay tuned for that on Tuesday. And until then, as always, I'm losing my voice from this long stream. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good listening. Take care. How do I turn this thing off again?